Now, on to the round table. Listen to what they say, for their words will guide you.
Go.
It's another nerdy night as my roundtable joins me, Ben, the Ridiculous Riddick, and another Spoilercast, second one of the evening, this time Batman vs. Superman, guys, because why not? Joining me at my roundtable for this fun and epic Spoilercast is Sam, DJ Fluffkins Chin.
Quiet, I'm watching my show. Wait, that's us! We're not that funny.
No, you're not. My Barack Ali joke was funnier.
Oh.
And, of course, our wonderful producer and co-content creator, Mike. No nickname DeMarco.
Hi, guys.
Should just put, like, a blog post up for Recruit to vote on Mike's nickname.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, let's crowdsource it. Can we just call him Dicridus?
Yeah, Mike Dicridus DeMarco. I don't
sure you don't like that name.
What did you say, Mike? Why?
The stream's doing that thing again where it's just weird and it has a picture of me in the background. I can't get it to go away. Don't worry, keep going. Keep going.
Okay.
It's
okay.
fine. It's fine, Ben.
Okay. Sorry, Mike.
Spoilers are coming. No, it's not saying that.
Okay, by the way, guys, this is Batman vs. Superman talk. We are going to be talking a lot of spoilers about Batman vs. Superman, so if you have not seen it yet, what is wrong with you?
No, don't go see it. Don't see it at all.
No,
Save
if you have
your
not seen it yet, please turn off the stream. Go out, buy a ticket, see Batman vs. Superman, then come back to nkrn.org, click on the post that says Batman vs. Superman Spoilercast, and watch, listen, do whatever you want. Yell at the podcast, yell at the screen. Just enjoy it after
Look, Ben,
after
I'm
you see.
I'm gonna call
Batman
it right now. They will enjoy watching this podcast for an hour more than they'll enjoy the movie.
If you're at least 50% of the people, yeah. The movie is very divisive.
Okay. Guys, spoilers start now.
Yes.
Right now.
For Batman v Superman.
All right, first off, let's...
Sorry. That's my spoiler.
That is your spoiler. I actually want to start the podcast with a quote by Joe Quesada. He is one of the many producers over at Marvel. Yep. And I love this quote. And it's a quote that I kept thinking of as soon as I walked out of the theater. And it's, what the fuck is DC anyway? This is a quote. What the fuck is DC anyway? I mean, they have Batman and Superman, and they don't know what to do with them. That's like being a porn star with the biggest dick, and you can't get it up. What the fuck?
I love Joe Quesada.
I love Joe Quesada, too. And I think it's a quote I took to heart. I saw the movie. I saw a very early showing at 6 o'clock on Thursday. Went and saw the movie, and I did this thing because I love comics. I love all content that has to do with comics, and I want to be an expert on all things comic book related. So of course, I watched every single trailer, read every single news story regarding Batman vs. Superman, which unfortunately means that I knew most of the movie walking into it. But I did this thing because I know I get incredibly excited about comic book movies. So I went into it knowing that I would come out of it and love it, regardless of if it were good or bad. So I tried to temper my reaction to the movie, except I think I took it a little too far. Because I walked out of that movie and I was like, what did I just watch? I don't understand this. Why am I so angry? And then I slept on it. Before I slept on it, Mike and I had a conversation. We played some Division. And Mike, how many times did I just stop whatever I was doing and was like, God, I don't know if I liked it.
Yeah, you couldn't get away from it. You were
Like-
very. You had a storm inside of you that was like, did I really hate it, or did I just? Do I think I hate it?
It was
you couldn't figure it out. Yeah.
It was eating me up inside. So finally, I saw it again. I also woke up the next morning, and I decided I loved it. I didn't only like it, I loved it. And I know that my opinion is not that shared by you guys, so I want to hear about your guys' experience with the movie, starting with Sam.
So
Yes.
I had a boss at Disney who used to say he would go to the theater and pay for whatever Disney movie was there and then go see whatever movie he wanted, right? That is how I felt about this movie. I should have just given money to Disney and just saw this movie. That's how much, like, it just did not impress me. I feel like it, to be completely truthful to what I, like, my most objective view of it is I think the way the movie was made and put together was the biggest problem. I don't feel like the storyline was as troubled as it could have been. Like, I feel like the general themes and how they played out along the course of the movie could have worked. But, like, for the first hour of the movie, it was just like cutscene to cutscene to cutscene to cutscene to cutscene of like 30-second vignettes of things that did not make sense together. That was my, like, probably biggest complaint. And then by the second half of the, like, story, you were just like, it's just a lot of, like, pent up, like, aggression or pent up stuff to a very, like, dissatisfactory, like, conclusion in my mind. Like, the big battle at the end was just like, all right, like, I guess we're getting some action. I love to see all the CG on the screen. This is great.
Especially when you think about it, that big battle could have been avoided by Superman staying up in the air and saying, hey, he's got my mom.
Yeah.
No, exactly. Exactly. It's like I could tell you it was my mom, but instead I'll get in your face and, like, push you around to tell you the same.
Let me get mad first as I walk into all these traps that you set up.
It could have been avoided by Lex telling him that he has his mom. He flies off and saves his mom, and then comes back and punches Lex in the face.
To be fair, he doesn't know where his mom is.
But Batman did.
Batman had to figure it out.
Batman didn't know where his mom.
I know, but
Batman
found his mom. That's my point. Superman could have found her too, just as easily.
Look, I mean, I think the big. I think
Please,
this
come
movie
on.
played off Batman as a detective a lot more than any other Batman movie has.
Superman was in the middle of a battle with Doomsday. Spoilers, everyone.
Doomsday is in the movie?
He was in the middle of a battle with Doomsday with Wonder Woman by his side, and he heard Lois drowning in a building.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And it wasn't
He
like
could have
Lois
found Martha.
yelling. It was
I
like
understand.
thunk, thunk, thunk.
This is something that is talked about in Superman comics at length all the time. There is a special connection that Superman has with Lois where no matter where Superman is in the world, he always seems to be able to hear Lois.
Well, fine. Did they tell us that in the movie?
No.
Nope.
But this is something that
It needs to be. If
So
it's going to be a thing, it needs to be established.
So
They also established that Batman's going to kill people.
Remember last month
Exactly.
when Warner Brothers came out and said that they thought this movie was not going to be for the same people who go and see Marvel movies, or they thought.
Okay, that's a very toned down version of what we.
Yes. They said it was too smart
We've talked about it at length.
for Marvel.
I don't think that's the right way to say it either. It's not too smart. It is too niche. It is for the core.
No, you're absolutely
audience.
right. It was too niche.
And I do believe they're absolutely right. This movie was not made for the person that's going to see a Marvel movie.
But I feel like
No.
that is a double-edged sword,
as broad
though.
of an audience.
That is a double-edged sword. They say that they're for they were making it for the core, basically, like the people that understand it, the people that are deep in the lore, and then they fuck up a ton of the lore.
But they're not trying to do the exact same thing that they're doing in the comics. Like, this is a new Batman. I mean, this is an old Batman. This is a Batman who has been doing this for 20 years now.
So is the Dark Knight Returns Batman. And this is like part Dark Knight Returns, but then not really.
Well, and let's just get to the point then. Like, this is one of the problems with how this universe unravels. Is that, like, at least with Avengers and the Marvel Universe, there haven't been like 20 billion reboots. Now, see what happens with Spider-Man. But, like, there's no, like, this is the origin of Iron Man. This is the second movie about Iron Man. Now Iron Man is in this Avengers movie. It's like, which Batman is it? Which Superman is it? Although Superman doesn't have as much variation as Batman.
Well, I mean, this Superman is very different than any other Superman we've ever seen.
He's not very Superman. That's the problem.
And, well, you can say the same thing about the Marvel heroes. They're not the comic book versions of themselves. I mean, Steve Rogers, like it or not, is killing people.
Yes.
In Captain America movies, in Avengers movies, when that is not something that he would be doing.
And I'm going to actually defend what happened in Metropolis and Man of Steel. I can explain that in writing. Like, a lot of people attacked it, and it actually became an aspect of this movie. But that's basically Superman's first day on the job. I can write what happened in Metropolis away. But
yes, but at the same time, that's like saying, well, this guy is sworn in as president. Oops, he nuked Asia.
Well, sure, and that's why it's important in this movie about what happened for the first 10 minutes. Once Batman literally, they show you the scene, and then Batman mentions it a couple times, and then it's kind of like, whatever. Like, the Metropolis itself is not really that big an issue. It's more about, this guy's really powerful. We need to rein him in or get rid of him.
See, but I have some theories based off of the changes in how they're portraying Batman.
Changes meaning there are decisions in the movie, or changes over time of making the movie?
Oh, no, just their decisions and how he's portrayed in the movie.
Okay.
Because we're obviously seeing a world that's post-Jason Todd.
Hopefully, yes.
I mean, that's... We see a Jason Todd-esque Robin uniform in the middle of the movie. Mm-hmm. And it's a pretty long shot, and it shows, ha ha ha, joke's on you.
Right.
On the costume, which, also given away in the trailers, but who's to say that they can't surprise us still, right? Right?
FYI, still have no idea about any of that. Like, if I hadn't played Arkham Knight, and then, like, talked to you about it, that literally would have meant nothing to me.
And that kind of goes back to my point of this movie was meant for people who know more about the comics. The Ben Riddicks of the world.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not the only one, though.
No. There's a plural to that, right?
But that group of people did not make this movie $410 million so far.
No, it did not.
That's the problem.
It is a problem.
Oh, I felt bad for all the little kids in the movie theater. I felt like they did not...
Way over their heads.
This was not the movie that their parents were going to take them to.
They should have went to Deadpool instead.
I thought so. I'm a person who hates origin stories. Like, I think I've been very vocal about that on every front, but I think that's why I liked this so much, is because there was no origin story here other than, this is how the Justice League is going to start.
Well, there was the Batman origin story.
Yeah, the 5 minutes at the beginning of the...
Which I thought was unnecessary.
And then they made it mean way more than it needed to mean.
Yeah. Yes, they did.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the movie. I won't not admit that there were problems with it. But I will say, in the beginning of the movie, when I saw that origin, I did think it was well done. Like, as far as portraying the origin of Batman, I thought it was a well done.
As a standalone Batman origin, I think it was well done. Yes.
Yep.
Agreed.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about.
So let me ask you something, because you know more about this. Is the comic story, the original comic story, did the I don't even know the name, the dad, did he actually try to stop the mugging?
Not in the way that he tried to do it in this.
Okay.
It's not an important
I've
detail.
seen other portrayals.
Like
I never saw that side of it.
Right.
The Batman Begins portrayal is a lot more accurate to the comic book origin.
Right.
Than this, him, moving forward trying to stop the gun, because obviously we're not that dumb to jump at a guy with a gun. But that whole, one of the most important things about a Batman origin story, that crime alley scene, are the pearls. Mm-hmm. And I thought the pearls were just done so well.
Yeah, it's always an important detail, and every time they tell the origin. Now, one thing that they also focus on in this origin, which I felt was lost on the rest of the movie, was they focused on the gun very deliberately, which is always important to the origin, because that's why Batman doesn't use guns. And we see him hold all kinds of guns throughout this whole movie. Now, he doesn't shoot bullets except for the dream sequence. I am with you there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he uses a lot of different guns.
He does not ever actually shoot a gun.
Yeah,
outside of the nightmare.
The thing is, with the Batmobile, it's kind of
the machine guns and the Batwing's got guns.
My first issue with this Batman is oh, that's a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's he drives by that guy and runs over that car, lights on fire. I think that guy's dead.
And then all those guys are very
shooting
dead.
Up guns. It's he's gonna kill those people. and I'm just okay, so this is where they're going with Batman. Don't know how I feel about that, but I guess it works for this universe now, because Superman's killing people, so why not?
Yep.
But I think something we're going to learn in a Batman standalone movie is a turning point from the I'm not killing to the, well,
do what it takes.
I'm not going to specifically seek out killing people, but if I accidentally bat a grenade back at somebody and it lands next to two people, I'm not going to be too upset about it.
Yeah, I see that happening in the standalone, definitely.
I
think the Robin's going to factor into that, personally.
And I think that this this movie was a good, let's set the stage for the rest of the heroes that we're going to be running into. In this world that Warner Brothers is wanting to make, they are making their decisions and they're sticking to them. I think this is good for what they want to do. Is it good for everybody? No.
Yes.
But this is good for what they want to do.
I want to start by saying, based on the marketing for this movie and all of the talk, it was a lot less of what I expected. For the world building stuff, I expected Aquaman to actually appear in the movie, which he really didn't. And I expected Cyborg to be somewhere, and he really wasn't. So on that front, they pulled back, and I'm glad they did.
Yeah.
I think there was still too much.
I don't like the way they were introduced.
No, me neither.
I know Zack Snyder hates post-credit scenes, but the way it was done,
and I feel it's conflicting. It
would have been so much easier to just throw it at the end of after credits, say, "Hey, these are the other people I've found.
These were in the files that you took from Lex." No, in a movie where they're trying to cater to people that understand these people, know the origins and stuff already, they're going to throw a file on screen that has them all by name and show us each one and be like, here's all those Justice League members you need to know about. And it's they're telegraphing and hiding at the same time, and it's really bizarre. They spent, one of the first things I thought after seeing this movie was, they spent about half an hour of this 2.5 hour long movie, which is too long.
Yes.
Half an hour of it was world building, was getting ready for Justice League. A half an hour. Iron Man 1 did the same thing, and a post-credit scenes in one line. It did the same thing.
You're right.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think Warner Brothers wants to do.
Agreed. I know they definitely don't,
Marvel is
and
doing.
I think it's to their fault, but that's their prerogative.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll only see over time.
Yeah, we have to see what happens.
I think it took away from this movie. I mean, as
Can we talk
much
about
as
some of- Go ahead, Sam. Sorry.
oh no, as much as I like, fans bandwagoning on nerd stuff, like it's I don't know. I don't want to see someone sacrifice quality of anything going forward for the sake of making money.
Yeah.
Like, especially in this realm where you can
I
do
don't
both.
think it's as a making money thing. I think they're trying to fast track into, and I don't think it's right, but that's what this is. It's a fast track into Justice League. It's like Avengers. It was built up over the course of 5 movies.
Yeah, 6 years, five. No, not that long. 2008 to 2012, 4
and
years.
I have to agree with Warner Brothers. They don't have the time to catch up.
I don't think there's a timetable. That's the problem.
No,
Like,
but
I think
wrong.
they're
People
banking
are
on the
starting-
idea of fatigue, right? They
that
can beat the
is
fatigue,
real, though.
They can
But
beat it.
So you don't
think
think that trying to rush more out isn't just going to contribute to the fatigue?
They're
No,
not trying
I'm
to rush more out. They're doing this
They're
movie,
trying-
and then Justice League is next.
Yeah.
That's their rush.
And then
Right.
after that, it's going to slow down.
Well,
Because
after we
then
get
it's
2 Justice
going-
League movies, and then we're gonna split off and get the rest.
So I guess my question is, how is this not them wanting to rush to market for more money? Like not maybe in terms of the number of movies, but they're trying to get on the bandwagon, right?
Yeah, they're trying to get to Phase 3 as fast as they can, which
Yeah.
Marvel's been doing
Okay,
for
okay.
10 years.
They're not trying to get to Phase 3 as fast as they can. They're trying to skip to Phase
Yes.
3.
Exactly.
It's
Yes.
not
okay.
a
That
let's
is a good distinction.
let's
yeah.
put all of these movies out and get there. Let's not put any of these movies out. Let's start at Phase 3 and then let's bridge the gap to Phase 4.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Okay, and
Okay.
it is a
Fair.
very big distinction because we're going straight from a Superman movie to a Trinity movie to a Justice League movie.
I would barely call this a Trinity movie either. Real.
Yeah. See, but I feel
Yeah,
like
no, not
I
really.
almost feel like I saw more Wonder Woman on screen than I saw Superman.
I was gonna say
I
Lois
would
Lane,
agree with that, but you could
remember?
pull Wonder Woman out of this movie and it wouldn't matter.
What?
You could pull Wonder Woman out of the movie and it wouldn't change the movie.
Well,
Plot-wise,
you could
she has
manage-
no
You
bearing.
could manage to do it. Plot-wise, no. I mean, like, she
You would
seems
actually
like a
would've
more
cut
integral part
time.
of the battle than anyone else. Really, like.
Well, that's true
And at
because
least
Batman
Batman,
was useless
yeah.
in the final battle.
No,
Yeah.
to be fair, if you pulled her out, one
being
of the
fair.
2 jokes in the movie would not exist.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. And I actually liked the joke a lot more in the context of the movie
It was
than in the
better.
context of the trailer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like it happened, and I'm like, oh, now I kind of understand this a little more. Like Batman might actually be thinking that Wonder Woman and Superman are of the same Kryptonian origins. At least that's what I got from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what people got from it. Let's talk about Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
I've been hearing a lot of flack to Jesse Eisenberg as
Really?
Lex Luthor.
I thought Lex was great. He's one of the better parts of the movie.
A lot of flack. Like just reading some of the reviews that I've read, IGN, GameSpot, The Verge. These are all places that kind of say that his acting was terrible in it.
Oh.
I don't
See,
think
so
so.
I take this in a completely different direction. I feel like having seen him in other things, I feel like his acting is good. I
Yeah.
feel like the direction that he was given may not have been what I expected. Like
Well, I think-
he really
go ahead,
much
sorry.
feels like a Joker in this more than anything else, and that kind of bothered me.
All right.
I never got that impression from Lex Luthor. But again, I was not a big Superman guy.
Yeah. As far as his direction, I'm with you there. I think this movie specifically had this issue where the universe is supposed to be grounded and like this is what would happen in real life if Superman showed up or if these heroes were real. Lex
Except
and
Superman's
Doomsday,
story that they
yeah, this movie felt like a comic book, which is the opposite
Yeah.
of that direction that they said they were going in. Like the way this movie plays these scenes next to each other in these vignettes, and like the way it gives us information feels very much like a comic book.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I mean, in the same sense that I felt Daredevil was multiple books going on at the same time.
Yeah.
That's what I felt about Batman vs Superman.
Yeah.
We had a Detective Comics going, we had Batman going, we had Superman going, and we had a little bit of Wonder Woman.
A one-issue side story of Wonder Woman.
Yeah, but I mean, it did feel again like a comic, and that's one of the things I enjoyed about the movie so much. Is it felt like I was reading a comic book,
Right? But that already feels like it already takes it out of the time, like the zone, the series with Man of Steel, which did not feel that way. And this is supposed to be a sequel. This is Man of Steel 2, really.
No, this is Zack Snyder saying, I really wanted to do a Batman movie, but they wouldn't let me.
Yeah, I had to do Man of Steel first.
Yeah.
It's.
But I thought one of the most interesting things about Jesse Eisenberg and Lex Luthor was the end scene.
Yes.
Like, there were hints to where I believed this movie was going and this story arc was going. But then at the end, it's like Lex Luthor starts freaking out and is like, he is coming and he's hungry. It's
that's when you figured out what was happening?
Well, no.
Oh, okay. I mean,
just saying this is what cemented his insanity to me.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because this is where you not only find out that Lex Luthor is the villain, but you discover, at least if you're into comic books a little more, you discover that Lex Luthor is an agent of Darkseid.
Right.
Like that, and that I feel explains a lot more.
As an aside, too, Zack Snyder doesn't like post-credit scenes, but that was a post-credit scene.
That was a post-credit scene.
That's what it was.
It's just
he can say it's not, but it was. Yeah. Anyway, this is a good transition, and we can try and fill Sam in as far as being an outsider. So, Darkseid is this overall villain. I'm going to throw his picture up as my thing because I have it ready. Darkseid is a big DC villain, and he's the Apocalypse of DC.
Yeah,
if you know what Apocalypse is from Marvel and the X-Men. They started early in the movie during the Nightmare, which I want to talk about, obviously.
Yes. That's a big thing on my notes of something I want to talk about.
Okay, so we'll transition this into that. But, so as far as I can gather, because I don't have a huge well of information, is that Lex did what he did as what he says he's ringing a bell to try and call Darkseid to Earth. And that's what Justice League is going to be about. They're going to need all the Justice League to be able to fight Darkseid. Do you have any more insight into that specifically, Ben?
What do you mean? I guess I don't really understand where you're going with the question.
I'm going to get back over to the Nightmare right now, unless you want to talk about this end scene a little bit more.
I mean, as far as him trying to signal Darkseid, I think he's trying to show the world that, because one of the big things in comic books, Darkseid is a collector of powerful beings. And I think what Lex Luthor is trying to do by unleashing Doomsday on the world is to show, okay, we've got Superman, you're seeing Wonder Woman. Now that I've set and Batman, now that I've set these three people in motion, you are going to find that Earth is home to a lot of very powerful individuals that you're going to want on your world. And Darkseid essentially rules this world called Apocalypse, Sam. And
not to be confusing, because Marvel is Apocalypse.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like he has this person that works for him, Granny Goodness, who goes out and finds all of these people and kind of inducts them into his team of people whose names I forget. I'm going to be honest because I can't I can't remember.
It's not the
Because
Legion, right?
What?
It's not the Legion. Darkseid.
No, it's not it's the Legion. But I just don't remember. But he essentially has these powered people and essentially uses them to try to take over the known universe. That's Darkseid.
Yeah.
There's your history lesson. And one of the big things that Darkseid's
Elite.
What?
Darkseid's Elite.
Yeah. Okay, that might be it. One of the things that Darkseid is that goes hand in hand with Darkseid is the Omega symbol.
Yeah.
So in this dream sequence, you see Batman essentially coming out of this hole, looking at a destroyed world.
I remember that. Yes.
Yeah. With a big dug-in Omega symbol in the ground.
Okay.
And this is where you kind of see the same kind of storyline that was in Injustice.
Yes. That's
where
what I
it's
was like connecting it to.
Something happened to Lois Lane that drove Superman to say, "Fuck it, I'm taking over the world." And gets these police guys, and Batman's trying to stop him.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start to see Batman is set up. There are a bunch of what I believe, I'm 100% convinced they're parademons.
Yes.
Right? I mean, they can't be anything other
Absolutely.
than parademons.
Yeah.
Which, Sam, like...
It's very subtle in the scene, but you see Batman fighting off these, like, paramilitary troopers, but then there's also these winged demons flying around.
Okay, yeah.
Those are Darkseid's things.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, they're like orcs for Darkseid, essentially. Like, they're very expendable. And I feel like with this dream, which was obviously not a dream, it was obviously a vision given to Bruce Wayne.
Right.
We are seeing a world where somehow Darkseid has corrupted Superman. And at the end of this vision, Bruce Wayne is woken up to fucking Barry Allen doing his awesome Speed Force time traveling thing, which people might not really get unless they're into the comics, I guess.
I totally did not get that. Oh my god. I thought, not gonna lie, I thought that was like a Robin character. Just put that out there. I had no idea what was going on there.
And this is why this movie has some serious issues. Sorry.
I will say, in the middle of the movie when that happened, Lee leaned over and was like,
"What the fuck is happening?"
I'm so confused. What's happening?
Now, before we even get into the Flash shit, for me, as a movie viewer and someone who actually understood the Flash just came and time traveled and was talking to Bruce, I have to assume that had to do with the Vision, because they were right next to each other.
Yeah.
Does the Flash have any powers that gives visions to people? Because I've never heard of that before.
Does Superman and Batman usually kill people?
No, they don't.
Okay.
I don't think those 2 points are related at all, by the way.
Well, no, but they're bringing in these new things for these heroes. I mean, in the New 52, they brought in a brand new Superman power, the solar flare.
Yeah.
Which I honestly thought was what the trailer was showing in the trailer.
Yeah.
But it was actually Doomsday. Whoops. But it's like they give new powers to DC heroes all the time.
Sure.
And in this new run of the Flash, there is a lot of shit that is time traveling and doing crazy stuff like that. And who is to say that there isn't in the future something that Bruce Wayne built to say, okay, this is what you need to do when you get there. Here we go.
So, okay, from a storyteller's perspective, that's going to happen, right? That's going to happen in Justice League or in Justice League 2 or something. Why would you send him back to that moment? Because it has no bearing on this movie whatsoever.
Well, I mean, Flash at the very end says, "Did I go too far?"
In the Vision?
You can't
Or in
Yeah.
in that scene?
In that scene.
Okay. See, I didn't catch all of it
He is
because
yelling. He's Bruce.
You could barely hear it.
It's all connected to Lois.
Right.
Did I go back too far? Bruce, it's Lois. Did I go back too far?
Okay.
Wow.
I'm at a loss for words, literally,
Wow.
because there's so much in this movie
that
pointless.
was completely lost on me.
And this is, I guess, this is where I see why there are some definite issues with the movie, because it was not built for someone who doesn't know the world already.
But I'm not that far removed from not knowing the world. Like, I know shit.
But you're pretty far removed to my knowledge of these worlds. And not to say my knowledge specifically, but
right.
You're hardcore comic book fans.
But can you not say that that's too far? Like, if you're building a movie that costs somewhere between $200 and $300 million to make, and then who knows how much to market, are you setting your target too narrow to really reach the people that are going to really like the movie?
I don't think I've argued that the target isn't set too narrowly. Okay. I've just argued that I am in the demographic that this movie is unintentionally targeted to.
But I think it's intentional. From what we've seen, it's very intentionally targeted.
Okay. I am in... I guess what... I know it's intentional. It was not... I don't think it was as intentional to be as narrow as it was.
The marketing targeting and the, production targeting are going to be different. Yeah. The marketing is going to try and reach as many people as possible, whether it's for them or not.
Mm-hmm.
Zack Snyder's targeting is you.
Yep.
And the 20 people around you.
Good job, Zack Snyder. It's a shame because I don't think any actor did poorly in this movie.
No.
I think they casted well.
Yeah, I don't blame any actors at all.
Fucking Jeremy Irons. I love Jeremy Irons to begin with.
Yeah.
But it's
his Alfred was
Jeremy Irons' Alfred was just so great.
If anything, he was underutilized. I don't think they had used enough of the movie.
Right.
Is it bad that my favorite one was definitely what's Lawrence Fishburne's character?
Really?
Oh, Harry.
He's another character you could have put out the movie and it wouldn't have mattered.
It was great.
Yeah. But it's and I thought Ben Affleck was not only great as Bruce Wayne, but he was great as Batman.
I think the little bit that he got to be Bruce Wayne was good. I think generally, even when he was out of the suit, he was Batman, which I also like. Mm-hmm. I think this Batman specifically is he's Bruce Wayne acting as Bruce Wayne so little. He is Batman all the time, 24/7.
Which, Jeremy Irons makes a point to say it wasn't Batman who got this information when he went to that little fight club thing. It was Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. And
which
literally
is a point I really do like. Yeah.
Everything with Batman in this movie I was good with until the very end. But Batman was the best part of the movie. I liked Lex, but I really liked Batman. I wish he had more to do, honestly, and he was already in most of the movie.
Yeah. But what I loved about it is you really saw Detective Batman.
Yeah.
I feel like there's not even in the Nolan Batman, there's detective aspects to it.
A little bit.
But this was getting nitty-gritty. Here's some spy shit that I'm gonna have to do to get the information that I want.
Of course, they have to throw Wonder Woman in there to undermine them sometimes. For whatever reason.
I thought was because I have a feeling they're going to go the Justice League animated series route and make Wonder Woman the main love interest for Batman. I think this is the first start in establishing that relationship.
Yeah.
It's oh, wow, this is someone who can actually outdo me. Oh, you put the thing in my car? How the fuck did you do that?
Yeah.
So, I think the Wonder Woman stuff was to build the relationship between her and Bruce Wayne. Mm-hmm. Batman, whatever you want to say.
I can see that.
And I thought, even though she didn't get to do much. I thought Gal Gadot was an awesome Wonder Woman, or Diana Prince.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I watched this movie. I came out of the movie and saw the Entertainment Weekly cover, and I'm like, I'm excited about this, and it's Wonder Woman.
I felt the same way. I
definitely a highlight.
Before this movie, I had zero. I still don't have much interest in Wonder Woman, but I'm gonna go see the movie, obviously.
Yeah.
And I'm actually like going to go out of my way to go see the movie when it comes out, because I want to see that 1912 like piece now, that period piece. That's what it's gonna be.
1812.
1812.
Oh no, it was.
No, it was
It might have been
1900s.
It was 19. It was 19.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. Fine. Yeah, I think it's going to be cool. What do you think happened to Vic Stone? Cyborg.
Cyborg.
Yeah.
I think he became Cyborg.
Oh yeah. I more meant, how do you think he got into that current state?
Oh, does it matter?
No.
Are we gonna see it anyway? I don't think he's gonna get his own movie. Is he?
I don't remember. I feel like it was on the list, but I just imagined that he was some kind of victim of the Metropolis incident as well. I mean,
probably.
the dude
Why
looked
not?
Sliced in half.
Yeah. What do we think about Miles Dyson being the guy that makes Cyborg? Does anyone get that reference?
Weird.
He made Terminator. He made the Terminator.
No, I know the.
Sam doesn't look like he understands.
Yeah, no, I didn't. Thanks for
okay. Yeah.
No, I thought that was great. But I don't know. I feel like the movie was a lot better, at least I guess for my demographic of people. For my people. Can we talk about the moment though where Batman kind of freaks out about the mention of Martha?
What the fuck?
Like,
first of all,
so
at the core of everything, go ahead.
Was the most predictable part of the movie.
Really?
I mean, because that's where the flashback, or not the flashback, the dream sequence began. Right? He was in the tomb, and it was his mother's like grave site, and so like I felt like there was that additional connection at that point where you were like, all right, well, when he gets to the end, this is one of the things he's thinking about. That I thought was actually more foreshadowed than I guess it seemed like you guys thought.
So I guess here's the thing. Martha Wayne and Martha Kent have been the same name for how many years now? And they've never played into it.
Over 75, yeah. Never.
Like, I mean, I'm sure there are some instances where it's brought up, but it's never played into as much as this movie played into it. And it's not so much that I had a problem with that being some kind of trigger. What I had a problem with was the direction they took Batman's reaction to hearing Martha.
Yes.
It's like somebody coming up to me and saying my mom's name, and then me just going around the room breaking everything.
My problem goes actually earlier than that.
Doesn't he say like save Martha?
Yeah. And I mean yeah. My problem goes before that actually. My problem is that Bruce Wayne, who is the greatest detective ever, he's the greatest detective, the Batman. He doesn't know that Clark Kent is Superman or that his mother is Martha Kent.
Yeah. But at the same time, it wasn't made particularly clear to me that he didn't know who Superman was.
I think that made it very clear to me.
It made it very cleir, yeah.
Like, that means he didn't know it was Clark Kent. And he probably still doesn't until the funeral, like, till he dies.
Yeah. I will say, to even wrap this into another plot hole, like, the entire thing with, like, Lois Lane going off the side of the building, him catching her, him going back up and being like, oh, my woman's safe. She's at the bottom of your building. I was like, really? Like, I get it. Like, I know it was a setup. Obviously, all those components are there. I was just like, really? Like, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that was just way too obvious. I don't know. Maybe
I don't think it's a plot hole. I don't think it's a plot hole, but it's definitely like I don't
plot
know.
annoyance.
It's like a convenience. It's like let's talk about Lois and plot conveniences, okay? After the fight,
Every
after the
single
fight,
thing she does.
after the fight with Batman and Superman, which ends with the whole Martha bullshit thing. She goes and takes the spear and throws it in the water. She's like, everyone's safe now. Literally, the next time you see her, she's like, I should go get the spear. Goes back to the water. It's like, why would you even leave that in the movie at that point? Like, even if that was the intention, and then they were sitting in the editing bay, and that came up, I'd be like, huh, let's just cut both of these and just leave the spear on the ground and have it come back later. Like, it's such a weird fucking thing. And it's basically because they need to get her underwater to have her almost drown so they can get Superman out of the battle. That was the point. And it's so telegraphed. And then, of course, you know, she's underwater, and I'm sitting here like, Aquaman? Like, he still hasn't actually been in the movie, and his scene was shit. So, but we have all these high-res posters and, like, marketing with Aquaman on, so he's got to come up somewhere, right? This is the only time we're going to see water in this movie.
Which is actually hilarious because there's no marketing for the Flash.
Nope. And he's actually in the movie.
And he's actually in the movie.
Okay, so here's my question, and this is as someone like did know where they were going with the Flash, and is a big fan of the Flash show on TV right now.
Ditto.
Like, I mean, I guess there aren't a lot of shows where there's concurrent characters, except in the Marvel universe. Like, me personally, I feel kind of sad that Barry Allen doesn't exist in this universe.
Yeah.
Well, I
It's a
mean, they've
different
made
guy
it
with a
perfectly
different
clear
thing.
that it's not going to be.
Yeah, it's not. They're not the same universe.
I know,
dude.
but I didn't know that
But
was going to happen. Like,
Here's the
that
other
makes me
thing.
sad.
Here's the other thing. With what they're doing with Flash right now, they are opening the door to potentially have some sort of crossover and do like an Infinite Worlds or an Crisis
Yeah, they could.
style thing because of how Barry is traveling through different universes.
Both
right now.
Barrys could technically end up together
Neat.
at some point.
Mhm.
Yeah. On TV
Okay.
or on film, if they wanted to.
If they wanted to.
Yeah.
Thank you, Flash.
That's fine.
But I mean, I agree. I think it is a mistake that they're not trying to bridge their cinematic universe with their TV universe. But at the same time, they have nailed TV.
Yes.
Oh,
like,
I think so. Yeah.
Like, I enjoy Arrow and Flash more than I enjoy Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Not to say that I enjoy Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in any kind of, or dislike Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in any way. But
I really like Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I do think Flash has grabbed me more. Arrow, no. Arrow is way more variable in, like, is it good or bad?
Mhm.
But Flash is consistently awesome, and I am all in on Flash.
yeah.
I haven't watched
Yeah.
Arrow because I've heard a lot of similar, like, mixed things. I really enjoyed The Flash. I think Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is just different. Like,
No,
it's
I know.
different in many ways.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, I haven't watched Agent Carter, so I don't know if that's better. But the fact that I haven't watched it probably suggests it's not.
I mean, it's better in the sense
I bandwagon
that
a lot.
it's better in the sense that you don't have to connect as much because it's all in the past.
in the past.
So it doesn't connect to the movies directly or to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. directly. It's all more of like, oh, you can see how that comes back later, like in the future or whatever.
Yeah.
Or like Jarvis is a main character in that because it's the Butler
Mhm.
Jarvis, not the AI
Right.
Jarvis.
It's not the AI Jarvis.
Right, which is really cool.
It's the Vision Jarvis.
Right.
Let's
Yeah.
kind of shift.
Let's
gears
not
back
shift
into
over to Marvel.
Batman vs Superman. I mean, marketing was kind of terrible for this because they gave away a lot.
Yeah.
But there were still.
Well, they got
There
you
were
in the
still-
door apparently, because I think that's what it ended up being, right? Is they gave away a lot.
mean,
trade to get people.
Sam, for a person like me, I would have gotten in the door without seeing any previews.
Me
no,
too.
yeah, but I mean, not the 420, well, however many million that they've racked up
410
already.
million over worldwide.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, for you, I get that, but like, they got a lot of people in the door,
Yeah.
right? Like that.
And I mean,
might not have.
I would have seen it either way, but they sold me with the Batman fight scene in that recent trailer, and that was like Batman's high moment as far as action goes. Like they showed the whole thing, that was it, and that was kind of disappointing.
But what I did like is there were still some legitimate surprises.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, even that specifically Flash from the future.
That was a surprise,
and
yeah.
I did enjoy the nuke. Wasn't expecting that. But I like how they showed. I liked how they showed the full extent of a Kryptonian's power on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you can't kill Superman unless you chop his body up into many pieces and throw him in very different places.
Or stab him with a spear.
Or stab him.
Well, after being exposed to kryptonite.
Yeah. So I enjoyed that, and and all the stuff that we saw in the trailers, like of Wonder Woman, I really expected that if there was going to be a lasso, that it would have been shown in a preview. But they kept that a secret until the very end of the movie, so good job.
I didn't find that to be a big thing either, though. Like, it wasn't like it was a reveal or anything. It just kind of happened. That last fight, let's talk about the last fight for just a second, too. I found that really disappointing. No? You don't want to talk about it?
Yeah, I mean, it was.
I thought it was disappointing. Okay. Like, the fight turned into Doomsday standing in one spot, and Batman hiding off to the side because he couldn't do anything other than shoot his kryptonite grenade launcher, and Wonder Woman, with no sense of space of where she is or where she's going, just appearing at his feet and slashing him. That's basically what the final fight was, until Superman speared him. Which, why did Superman have to do that? Wonder Woman probably could have done it, and he wouldn't have had to die. But
yeah, no, I agree. I mean, like, that was kind of my point, was that it was probably really just an intro for Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Like, she got there and she was kind of badass, and that was
come on,
great.
her intro music in the movie was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I enjoyed her intro music.
How much of this Doomsday quote-unquote origin story is aligned to what... Like, I did not understand any of that.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to tell you right now that my Superman knowledge is not as great as others.
I did a little bit of research, but not much.
He is still a creation of Lex Luthor.
Okay, wait, is he? I thought he was a Kryptonian defect. Like, that's accurate.
Oh, you know what? You're right.
But it's not from Lex.
I'm thinking of Metallo.
Yes. And I think Bizarro is also like a Kryptonian experiment of Lex that he loses control of, I believe. At least some origin.
But Bizarro is a clone of Superman that went wrong.
Right.
But a Lex Luthor creation.
Right. So Doomsday is fairly accurate. I was a little questionable at the beginning when he first showed up, and I was like, well, there's a generic troll monster. But as the fight went on,
that's exactly what Lee said. She's like,
yeah,
it looks like the troll from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
It's a cave troll.
But as the fight went on, he got his spikes and stuff, and it got more what I'm used to him looking like. But
yeah, I definitely did not understand this.
That was one thing I really was weirded about in the movie was he shows up and the nuke going immediately. I was like, okay, after Metropolis in the first movie, I can see that happening. The U.S. response was like, nuke it, fuck it, just do it now. But
okay,
the concept of the guy, the black army guy that was telling them what to do or whatever. It was Yeah, the guy that Lois talks
No,
to,
I
and then
know who you're
there.
talking
I don't
about.
know his
Just,
name.
like your description.
He's just a random character. But like they shoot Doomsday a couple times, then they hit him with a nuke, and then immediately their conclusion is everything we do makes him stronger. Which is Doomsday's thing, is that when he gets killed by something, he becomes immune to it. That's his power, basically.
Yep.
So they literally explain that away in like 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't even completely explain it, really. But you kind of, I guess, if you know that, you see it happen throughout the fight. But I felt like that, knowing that there's an extended R-rated edition of this movie coming out, I feel like that's prime part for stuff that was cut out because it was so quick.
Yeah.
Not that it needs to be longer.
Good thing
but I
they're
see
going
it
to
happening.
add things to the movie to make this longer.
I know, right?
Oh, God.
Do we want to talk about the extended director's cut R-rated edition of this movie coming out in July?
And
here's
real
the
quick,
thing.
Shaq in the chat. Bizarro is from an alternate universe in some storylines of DC, but in the current run of DC Comics, he is a defective clone of Superman that Lex Luthor has created.
Yeah.
So I'll say my independent barometer of how much I like a movie is how quickly it takes, or how long it takes before I check my watch to see what time it is.
That's a decent thing to think about. Yeah.
Yeah. This movie was like 30 minutes in.
Oof.
Like it
That's
was
quick.
that.
And
The first,
I thought that
part
was
punishing.
I thought that was the main fault of this movie, was how incredibly slow it was. But again, it's like once it all built into each other, I ended up really enjoying it.
So I'm reading a Time piece on Doomsday and the origin story, and I guess the comic origin story is not the same. It's definitely was like a prehistoric
Kryptonian.
Kryptonian.
He's like, when you look at his species, I think he's known as an ancient Kryptonian.
Yeah.
But again, it's one of those things that I think in the comics they find from the Fortress of Solitude, like remnants of the Doomsday creature, and they just try to make it.
They Jurassic Park it.
Yeah, they Jurassic Park it.
Yeah.
But we've been dancing around the biggest spoiler of the movie.
Yeah.
And that is, at the very end, while Superman kills Doomsday, Doomsday stabs Superman through the chest and kills him.
Yes.
Or does he? Which,
temporarily,
I have to
guess.
say, like, one of my biggest complaints about the movie was how long the ending took.
Yes.
So true.
Like, there were lines that were said. It's like, okay, so the credits are going to... Nope, they're not. Okay, so the credit...
I like how they kept cutting back to the scene, right? It's like, grave, other scene, come back.
Yeah.
Scene, come back.
Exactly. So that was weird. But it's like, the thing that I did kind of like about it is that the entire time I'm like, oh my God, they killed Superman. He's going to stay dead. He's not coming back to life. This is taking a really long time. Is this them showing us that he's dead, or what? I mean, it had me actually questioning myself for the 30 minutes that the ending of the movie was happening. And then, of course, at the very end, you see the dirt that Lois throws on the casket levitate as though he's about to fly.
Like, less than half a second.
Yeah.
Less than half a second.
So,
oh, hi, I'm great,
Ben,
Aura.
maybe you can, like, this is on the subject, but separate. Do you know how Superman came back when Doomsday killed him in the comic? Because that was a big thing. The death of Superman happened. That was a real comics, like, series, and Doomsday killed Superman, and they killed each other at the same time. And there was a big funeral with all the Justice League members and everything. But then he came back with the Gladiator thing, right, on the other world?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that the next time we saw Superman?
Yeah, I think it was. Now,
how did they explain his resurrection? Because I'm not sure.
So here's the big thing for you. I literally dislike Superman so much that I avoid any kind of comic book reading when it comes to Superman.
Fair enough.
So when the death of Superman came by, I'm like, oh, cool, that's happening. And then, of course, I'm just sitting there reading my Batman comics, and all of a sudden it's like,
Funeral for a Friend pops up.
God damn it. So I don't really know.
Okay. Well, that'll be
Too
something
much
I will
about
be looking
I'm
into
looking
to
it
see
up.
if I can.
It's not very clear.
Yeah. He just dies and then he appears in the universe somewhere else and makes his way back there.
I want to say that it was Brainiac
Okay.
related, but I'm not 100% sure, and I don't want to be wrong.
Yeah.
So that
Well,
is...
either way, that's not what they're doing this time because obviously he's coming back. He's coming back to life on Earth, which
Yeah.
I'm kind of disappointed that they already showed. Like, leave him dead and then bring him back later.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
whatever.
Let me think that he's dead for just another minute before I look up to see that, he's still doing... he's still coming up in other movies.
Yeah, he's still contracted to play Superman.
Yeah.
Oh well. So yeah, they killed Superman, but not really. They're gonna let the rest of the universe think he's dead for a minute,
Mm-hmm.
and then I can't imagine they're gonna keep him out of Justice League for very long either. So what's it really end up amounting to? His death at all?
Yeah.
I mean, I
So-
guess
so
it'll
for the
affect the people that are against him.
So in the comics, in the wake of his death, 4 Supermen rose to take his place,
Right.
each with
I
a
do
seeming
remember
claim
that.
to the real one. There was
Yes.
the 4 were a 16-year-old Superboy, a parent clone of the Man of Steel, a cold, almost ruthless alien, or a clone of the Man of Steel, apparently a cold, almost ruthless alien version manifesting some alien powers, a hideous Terminator-esque cyborg, a John Henry Irons who wore the suit of armor while inspired by Superman's spirit. In the course of the story, which is actually rather excellent despite its gimmicky nature, it was revealed that, of course, none of these individuals were the real Superman. Instead, Kal-El was merely in a deep coma, and he's resurrected by Kryptonian technology, just in time to stop an even greater threat to the planet than Doomsday. When he returns to life, he is wearing a black suit with a silver S.
Okay, yay.
Color scheme
So,
which the coffin
Krypton
looks
revives
not-
him because reasons.
Because reasons, indeed. He's got to be the one to bring back Krypton in general. All right. Any other things that we want to add on to this before we wrap up?
Can I ask one thing? More directed at Mike, but
Yeah.
feel free to pitch in, Ben. So my movie watching experience was completely ruined by the fact that my theater had new stairwell lighting. And it was like a green and a blue light, LED, that was super bright. It was like brighter than anyone's cell phone screen
Wow.
could have been. And I was sitting like in a back corner, so it was in my line of sight. Now,
Shit.
I don't know if that took away from the way the film was graded, but like, I really didn't like the fact that it was super dark all the time.
Yeah.
Like, there was, the entire thing was just like dark and gloomy.
I've seen
and I guess
comments.
that's part of the story.
I've seen comments since before I saw the movie, and then once I saw it, I was like, yeah, I kind of have the same idea. How about we get a fight in the daytime next time? Like, the whole movie is
Yeah.
so dark. Everything happens at
Well,
night
we
in
did
that
get a
movie.
fight in the daytime in the last movie, and everyone complained about it.
Dark Knight Rises?
No.
No.
And,
Oh, Man of Steel. Like
Man of
Metropolis? I don't think we complained
But
because it was daytime, though.
no, I know, but people did, but you're right about Dark Knight Rises. They did complain about the daytime there.
That whole movie was
Yeah.
weird, though. That was the least of my problems with that movie.
Yeah.
All right.
That's my side comment. Is that not only did I lose some enjoyment because
Right.
of that, but I also
Didn't you also see it in 3D?
I did not.
Oh,
I
okay.
did not.
I did, and I think it was a little extra dark in 3D. 3D wasn't bad, but I don't usually have issues with 3D.
You know what?
It definitely wasn't
liked
it definitely
about
wasn't a
seeing
great
it in
3D
2D
movie.
Is I did not see any point in my normal viewing where it's like, oh, that was just made for the 3D.
Oh yeah, no, there was nothing like that. I think we've mostly
I
gone away from
appreciate.
that finally.
Yeah, no. I know that 3D movies have gotten better, but I still appreciate it every time that I notice it.
Yeah.
Or rather,
You
don't
failed to notice it.
People
Yeah.
finally got over the gimmick, thank God. That's the
Yep.
worst part of 3D is when they try and cater to it and shit.
Yeah, now that we're actually talking about just how 3D is,
Yeah,
I
movies.
think this is a good time for us to go ahead and close out. Guys, it's been a nerdy night. Remember, you can find us all on Twitter. Sam is at DJ Fluffkins, and you can catch him on the NK Radio Show with me and Mike every Monday, tomorrow, at 7:30 Pacific time. You can find Mike on Twitter at MikeV, that's MAIKV, as well as he hosts a Let's Play podcast where him and I are currently playing through Final Fantasy VII,
Yes.
which is the very first Final Fantasy game I've ever played now. And this is my first time playing it. And then, of course, you can find me on Twitter at BRidiculous. That's BRiddickuLous. And you can find me on my show, Nightly Novels, that I host with my sister, where we read comic books every week. It's like a book club for comics. And just discuss what we thought of the book to try to get more people interested in them. Last week, we did Daredevil Yellow. And then this Wednesday, we'll be releasing an episode on The Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller. So be sure to catch that on our YouTube channel at www.nkrn.org/YouTube, where you can find all of our shows. So subscribe, like, do all that sort of stuff. Guys, it's been a nerdy night. Remember, it's dangerous to go alone.